Okay. Call the meeting to order. It's right. I pledge one nation under God, liberty. Is public in yet? Oh, great. Okay, route of egress: in the event of an emergency, all people may exit right or left from this room and proceed to an exit door. All doors will open from the inside. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Haledon Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting published in the North Jersey Herald News, the board's official newspaper, on January 11, 2023. Notices of this meeting indicating date, time, and place were posted publicly on the door of the main entrance to the school and filed with the clerk in the municipality of Haledon. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Here.
Mr. Coletta.
He couldn't make.
Okay. Mr. Guzman,
Here.
Mr. Martinez, Mr. Matzo, Ramadan,
Here.
Ms. Faradiglio. Here. Mr. Webb
Here.
and Mrs. Issa.
Here. Okay, and I have a motion to pass correspondence.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Abbasi, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faradiglio,
Yes.
Mr. Webb
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Then I have a motion to pass prior minutes.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Digliozzi, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Abstain.
Mr. Guzman,
Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna abstain. I'm gonna vote yes. Change it to yes.
Yeah, I do want to point out, that we
Normally,
double checked and
I usually go back and watch the YouTube video of the meeting, so I can, if I miss a meeting, so I didn't get a chance to do that, so that's why I'm abstaining.
oh, okay, well, we did check when we were at workshop and they said even if you haven't watched the video or read the minutes, you can still vote yes because you're basically relying on your fellow board members that the minutes are clear. And then if you prefer to abstain, that's fine. Okay, so
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faradiglio,
yes.
Mr. Webb
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens on agenda items only?
Second.
By Mr. Abbasi, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faradiglio.
Yes.
Mr. Webb
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, so the floor is open to the public on agenda items only. Would anybody like to address the board? Agenda items?
Motion to close.
Nothing, Mr. Miller? Okay,
Second.
moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan, Ms. Faradiglio,
Yes.
Mr. Webb
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Moving on to reports. Oh, okay, so, motion to pass 6.1. No, I'm sorry, can somebody, make a motion to pass it? Moved by Mr. Goodman, seconded by Mr. Abasti, roll call please.
Mr. Abasi?
Yes.
Mr. Goodman?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
yes,
And Ms.
Yes. Okay, now on to committee report. So let me begin with my report. Good evening, everyone. I want to start with a brief report out from the New Jersey School Boards Association annual report that several of our board members and administration attended. The many sessions throughout the week provided professional development, guidance, best practices, and opportunities to network and team build with fellow board members within our district and across the state. There was even a keynote address given by a Manchester Regional High School graduate that was very inspiring. John Paul Gonzalez is a motivational speaker, is recognized for leading the New York Giants to their 2012 Super Bowl victory with the phrase "all in." Continues to work regularly with New York Giants while teaching high school in Union City. He's also founder of Hope and Future, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to using athletics and physical fitness to share a message of hope and striving for excellence in inner city public schools and juvenile jails. So that was a really nice session, and really the sessions that I attended were really good. It was my first time attending in person, so I got a lot out of it. I'm really glad I went. And before I go on with my report, does anybody who attended, would they like to comment on any of the sessions they attended or?
Robert's rules was.
Yeah. Robert's rules was good, and it's so important because it helps keep give structure to the meeting, so.
I agree. Point John Paul's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool for a kid from, the area, Richmond, from Manchester, 1,000 point score to go on play for the LA Clippers. It's really impressive to get to that, at that level.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker, and he he does that a lot with different organizations, not just the Giants, so, that was a really good, okay. So I'll move on, so since we're talking about the school boards, Jersey School Board Association, I wanted to follow up on the note that I had made at the last meeting about board certification as a unit. Manchester achieved that recently, and it made me curious as to what the criteria was, and if we're close. So let me read to you. I reached out. Let me read to you what the criteria is. So earn 16 credits of group training within a 4-year period. Participate in at least one full day retreat or an equivalent of board workshops. We did that one. Complete an NJSBA policy wellness check. It's basically like a policy audit to ensure that the board's policy manual is current. Complete an analysis of the district's negotiated teachers' contracts by NJSBA's legal and labor relations staff. Demonstrate commitment to continuous improvement through completion of the annual board self-evaluation. Comply with currency mandatory training requirements for each board member, and satisfy the governance portion of the New Jersey Department of Education monitoring. And then there's a note that credits will be maintained as long as the composition of the board remains the same, or if the board experiences less than 1/3 turnover in membership. So it's pretty rigorous criteria. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but given that one of our board goals created this year is to work together towards professional development as a union, I think that this goal fits in well with that.
Madam President,
Yes.
it doesn't seem like we're far off with that, though.
We definitely have a few of these. We have the 16 credits of group training within a 4-year period.
And I'm certain that if they review our contract, and anything else that needs to be reviewed, so it's gonna be.
I think it's I think there are 16 credits of group training within a 4-year period. That might be one that we would have to think about where we're at with that. The self-evaluation, that would be one that we would have to do. There are a few here, but we can, really map it out, like what exactly we accomplished. And see how close we are, but it's a good goal to have in mind. So, and I just want to encourage all of our board members to please stay on top of your mandated training. And, participate in the New Jersey School Board Association trainings as much as possible, or any other, professional development opportunities. So that's a goal to keep in mind. Just moving on to the expansion project very briefly, I'm looking forward to getting the expansion project underway. Other preparations begin this week. Thanks in advance to the administration, the staff, students, and families for their cooperation during this time as we work to improve our facilities and increase our services to the school community. And lastly, on behalf of the board, I just want to thank Mr. Cicillo for his years of service with public school and its students, and wish him the best in our future endeavors. And with that, I will turn it over to our chief school administrator, Mr. Wack.
Thank you, Board President Eva. So our construction project is set to begin on Wednesday. Why is it gonna begin on Wednesday? It turns out it takes 9 months to build an expansion, an extra wing on top of this construction. So it's imperative that this project finishes by September 1st. We met with the architect team and the construction team, and they mapped out pretty much every day what they're going to be doing for the first 2 months. I also appreciate that about 850 or so community members watched the YouTube video and also watched for as long as they did. I don't think I've ever had a video gain that much exposure, so I appreciate the community interested in this. That video basically gave out the most pertinent information as possible. And yes, this is going to be a very difficult task for a while. The whole process so far has been difficult. But just like we did with COVID, we're very good at making quick decisions and quick adjustments. And we're going to continue to do that so that everything runs as smoothly as possible during construction. We know that the beginning stages of November till February, that's when they're going to be doing the demolition work. And that's where it's going to be the loudest and most cumbersome time. But I'm sure each phase of the project is going to have its own set of challenges. And we got a good team that they could help meet them. In our preschool plan that's on this agenda, you'll see that we added at least one. We anticipated we're going to add at least one more preschool section next year. But it's very possible that we may amend that at some point and add a second one. So the wait list is just going to be never going to pass if we have this expansion. But we had to get something on, so we just put one for now as a placeholder. The only difference between what we know now and what I stated in the video is that tomorrow morning around 6 in the morning, I'm aware that 2 storage trailers are going to arrive. They're going to go by where the picnic area is, towards the side of the school. This will help us move all the material that need to be stored so that we can spend the next 2 days really making progress of getting these rooms up and ready and safely ready. And if needed, probably we will need this, but we'll look to have custodians here during the upcoming break to complete any extra work that might need to be done before we go back up Monday. I need to thank the admin team and all the teachers and the teacher leadership, all the custodians. They've been working extremely hard. And Mr. Mann and everyone, Malik as well, that helped out with this logistical labyrinth that we've been working on in order to get this construction project up and running. I'm going to be sending out a lot of information to the school community at each stage of the construction process. But I do want to thank everyone for their understanding and their attitude, and for I get the sense that everyone sees that this is going to be a tremendous net positive when it's over, but it's going to be rough for a little bit. A second note, I'm pleased to announce that Mr. Sposato, our new VP, has started serving HPS since our last board meeting. He's earned a reputation thus far as being a very hard and efficient worker, and he's doing a great job meeting the students and interacting with them. So I'm excited to see him continue to grow as a school leader. My third point is I'd like to thank the PTA and the staff and the school community for their amazing efforts during the Halloween parade. I thought that this year's event ran incredibly smoothly, even though board member Abbasi thought that I was dressed as a clown. I was a samurai, not a clown.
Well, me.
Yeah, I know, I did fool you. And I find it ironic that you didn't have time to watch the last board meeting YouTube, but you found time to watch the Giants game. And I'm not sure which one was more interesting, but nonetheless, I was a samurai, and the event was a blast, and the class parents did great, the teachers did great, the kids did nice. And lastly, I want to remind this board that within the next few days, either Mediza or myself, we're going to send out a draft schedule for next year's board meetings, so that everyone in the board can review and I guess provide any feedback. I plan on working that on Thursday and Friday at the teachers' break, when we get a lot of paperwork done. And that's my report for today.
Madam President, I just have a question for Mr. Walker and also a quick comment. So this school expansion, I know we have some new board members, and I just think it's important that we put on the record how we got here to the school expansion. You have a lot of folks asking questions. They think that, the school expansion is something that we started maybe last year or in the last 6 months, but this is something that's been ongoing for several years. I mean, we even had an issue where our children were eating lunch in the small gym, trying to figure out different ways, to address the overcrowding. Then I remember we convened an ad hoc committee to see how we're going to finally address the overcrowding issue in the school without having to go out for referendum, without having to go to the taxpayer. So I think it's important that we put on the record how we got here and the great job that was done to get the school expansion done at no cost to the taxpayer and no cuts in service. So if Madam President, Mr. Walker would touch on that, I think that's
Yeah,
very
so
important.
this board hasn't raised property taxes in 5 or 6 straight years. And our plan was, we didn't want to go out for, the board did not want to go out for referendum. So the plan was, we're just going to keep investing the maximum amount possible to our capital reserve, even if it might wait 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years, and then use that money once it gets to a certain part of its expansion. And then COVID happened, and a lot of bad things happened with COVID, no doubt. But we got a surplus of funding through the ESSER, and the board applied saying, hey, we can spread things out. That's one of the allowable uses. We'd like to use this to a big chunk of this money to expand, and that accelerated the timeline of us being able to do this. If we didn't use the ESSER money to fund at least 2 or 2.5 million of the project, we would have had to keep waiting another 7 or 8 years. But you're absolutely right. My first year here, George, there was about 1,100 students in the building. And we had students eating their lunches in the small gym because we were just overcrowded.
Thank you.
It's been long awaited and it's very anticipated. And as you know, Mr. Walker, it's gonna be a little rough getting through it, but once we do, it's gonna be a great addition. I also just wanted to mention the draft calendar that Mr. Walker mentioned. So obviously with a 9-member board, it's going to be impossible to get dates that work for all 9 board members all year long. But I'm just asking that you be flexible when you get the draft. We're sticking to Wednesdays and then occasional Mondays when we have to. Just be as flexible as you can. And once we do have the schedule, put those dates in your calendar so that you have them there and you plan around those. It's helpful. Okay, so I will turn it over to Business Administrator, the opposite.
Thank you, Madam President. So I just have a few things to know regarding the finance part of the agenda. Anything that I don't mention, anyone has a question on, feel free to ask me, and I'll definitely get you the answer. If I can answer it right now, or I'll answer it later. So the first thing I just want to know, and we discussed all these things in the finance committee today. 13.3 and 13.4. This is 2 resolutions for Kathy Helwa. Everyone is familiar with Kathy, and we're going to have her help out the district with the ARP Parent Academy Workshop Series. This is where we are going to have our parents kind of participate on some of the programs that we are already doing with ARP. And then we're going to prioritize what the district want to keep going in the future in case that there are some things that we may have to make some adjustments.
If I could jump in. There's probably 30 or 40 programs or instructional programming that we're using solely through ESSER money. And ESSER money goes away on June 30th this year. And maybe we get a really good state aid total and we can keep all. But and George is optimistic that's gonna happen. But
Because we have a phenomenal business administrator and a phenomenal chief administrator.
I have to prepare it to, I think the likelihood that some of these programs are gonna get cut because that giant funding stream is now gone. It's gonna be very difficult to keep maybe even half of it, right? So we need to get data from the parent, say these are the ones that we really got the most value out of, or these are the ones our kids really enjoyed. So, you know, the administration can explain, you know, the parent intended the 4 umbrellas of ESSER that we've done, and then the parents are gonna give us feedback, and then the Governor Casella will give this board a report, and then we'll use that when we get our state aid to see what we're gonna do. That's all.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
13.3. So have we done something like this in the past to get parents in with feedback?
Not like, not to the extent, not to the extent.
Are we concerned or actively pushing following parents to this?
If the board approves this, then my job is to start advertising it and getting many parents to participate.
And you know, we did have, if you remember, Swap, we had evenings right before COVID happened. You were doing a series of meetings. That wasn't necessarily getting feedback, that was informing. Escapes me what exactly is the nature of it, but
Yeah, maybe that might have been part of helping build a strategic plan, maybe, but I think this is specifically focused for how can we, what services did you like best, that we keep, but I do know what you're talking about, but I don't remember exactly what we discussed that.
right, but what we did was we just really pushed it, everybody pushed it out, you know, on social media, so up, of course, put it on the website and emails, the robocalls and all that stuff about it. So once we do this, you know, and
Because I'm sure there's gonna be value. Just hope that there's gonna be parents.
I'll send the board a report about exactly how we're gonna communicate it. And we've had teachers also express interest to be part of this as well. So they'll be on the next board agenda that they're part of. Thank you.
And the other item that Catherine will be helping the board with is the ethics training, which we, all boards have to do this on an annual basis, so she will be presenting for us after the turnover. The other thing is 13.7, the frontline agreement. This is our program that we use to manage our absence and substitutes management, and it also helps us with onboarding with new applicants. Comes to hires. We also have 13.9, the acceptance of the safety grant. So every year so far that I've been getting these safety grants through our insurance company, and basically it's the insurance company kind of gives us a grant according to whatever safety expenses that we put out annually. And like I noticed in finance committee, we may do like $5,000 or $10,000 worth of safety expenses, and they kind of choose how much they're giving back to district who participate with the insurance. 13.11 is our approved comprehensive maintenance plan. This is an annual plan that we have to submit to the county every year. The board approves this every year, and it's all of the required maintenance for the district that we have to compare and make sure that we budget for it. And it looks at three years, the actual expenses versus what we budgeted for, what our project. So the county or this state wants to make sure that we are budgeting properly for our maintenance of our upkeep of our. 13.13 is our master, there's a master intergovernmental co-op. So every year in January, we approve a list of co-ops that the district choose to participate in. Because of the expansion project, we had connected with the vendor, which is on approval for tonight, 13.18, that we wanted to consider doing the storage units with. So in order to participate with this individual without going off bid, we have to also participate with the co-op. So this is what this is. And 13.14, I think Mr. Walker spoke about this. Also, has to do with the acceptance of the unified champion school grant for our special education and Olympics. This is something annually that we board accepts. And 13.20 is the application of our approval of our temporary classrooms. So this is what we need to approve in order to change the structure of the classroom temporarily. So once the board approve it, we are submitted to the county and should
Just a quick note on that one. 1320, number 2, the approval use of the STEM room is supposed to be for 1 preschool class, so it's 3.
And that's my fault, because I typed that one and I apologize, the STEM room's only booked for 1.
Okay, so what we learned in Robert's rules is that we will have to call out the main resolution, and then we would have to do a sub vote to fix it and amend it, and then we have to go back to the main resolution and repeat it again, and so this is what we're actually thinking, right? So that, yeah,
So we're gonna do that now, or when we get
we'll get to it, that's what we want to do.
you'll remind me.
Yes. So 13.21 is similar to the comprehensive maintenance plan. This is a checklist of evaluation of the safety of our building. This is an annual item that we have to approve. During QSAC, this is mostly very important because this is what our county evaluates the district on how we're maintaining on the building.
Question about that. So on page 6 of that report, the playground area, that was one that was checked off, no. And we're in the process of upgrading our playground, but I'm assuming that it's still safe if the kids
It is safe.
play on the equipment.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it is safe, but if the county was to come out here and hold us accountable for that, we just want to make sure that we are knowing any things that we know that we want. Fix.
Being upgraded,
Right.
the process of being upgraded.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, so this is like during the off season, when it's not QSAC, this is a self-governing document. But when it's QSAC, we have to make sure that we are, up to par, well, every year, but just make sure that we are kind of in line with what we're saying.
okay.
So pulling that thread a little, are we repairing the playground or are we upgrading?
Well, we would like
So
to.
that's part of our long-term facilities. Our architect firm strongly recommended that we finish the expansion project before we begin the process of repairing the playgrounds. We follow their advice.
We were supposed to do both. It was supposed to happen.
No, is it, I was asking, is it a repair or upgrade?
So the rubber material in the ground, like that part is getting a little worn. So we're gonna replace or upgrade that, and then we're gonna look to include what's the inclusive playground structure so that more students can really enjoy the area.
Because I kind of understand what you're saying, what your question was. It's marked off no as if it's not a safe operating condition current. It currently is, right? I mean, kids are using it, right?
Yeah.
It's not unsafe, not putting it out there as safe.
No.
So maybe
We're just noting
this
that
could be maybe this could be a yes with the note that there are plans to upgrade.
Refer that to our business person, because I would not want to say yes and he's putting no, because this is a regulation and guidelines. The last thing was 13.25. So we're approving an additional engineer to our expansion project because we need a third-party engineer to kind of inspect what is happening that's not connected or have a common connection with our current contractor. So we need someone as a third party to come and inspect different phases of the project so that we can be in compliance. Okay. So if there's any questions about that. Yeah. And that is the end of my motion.
Okay, so moving on to personnel management, Mr. Goodman.
Yes, Madam President, if I may, take this opportunity. When I first started on this board, our preschool cap, it was only 30 kids, that's it. There was always parents, there was always a waiting list, there was always an issue. Years later, now we're up to 70. Most recently, we've gotten more parents advocating for additional expansion on top of that 7. So about a couple weeks ago, I want to thank Mr. Walker and his team because we went from 70, now we're up to maybe 85. Because they expanded preschool yet once again to try to accommodate these parents. So now we have an additional 15 families that were impacted in a very positive way with our free preschool program. So I'm hoping too that once this expansion is done, we could expand from there as well. So I just want to thank Mr. Walker again and his team because preschool is very important, and to have such a great impact on these families, I'm sure they're very happy and grateful for that opportunity. With that being said, Madam President, agenda items only on the personnel.
Apology, Mr. Webb.
Hello, agenda items only.
Mr. Massey.
There's only one on the agenda today, and that's the policies that were discussed the last meeting. So other than that, that's the only agenda item. I do, can I ask one question here? And maybe Mr. Molino can jump in, specific to policy 2270 regarding religion in schools. It mentions students are protected their First Amendment rights. The following activities, and explains what they are okay, organized prayer groups, activities and things of that nature. When my son was a student here a couple of years ago as an 8th grader, he approached the school asking because at certain times, especially for Friday prayers, and I know there's a lot of Muslims in the school, they miss out on congregation prayer that we go to as Muslims. So he asked Mr. Walker, he asked me, I told him to go ask your school principal before I had anything to do with the board. And I think at the time you looked into it, and the recommendation was to have your prayer outside of the school on the grass after school hours.
I think we chose if my recollection is correct, I think we chose the garden area perhaps, and I think I told them if it was raining, then we had an alternate after school thing.
Right, but I mean, according to this policy, would it suggest that that activity would have been okay in school during school hours?
Mr. Merlino, did you hear that question?
Yeah, so I think part of the issue and the addition project should help alleviate some of that. So I think it was really a spatial concern back then, and I think but you're right. This policy does state that, and that is the law again, but just providing there is space inside. So hopefully with this addition project that will be resolved, and we'll have be able to afford the students that opportunity.
Thank you.
Security and safety, Mr. Guzman.
There's one agenda item, which I was proud to write and sponsor, and I'll read the title. It's the Health and Public School District Board of Education resolution advocating for the immediate end to violence in the Middle East. So that'll come up for a vote later.
Second that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Community engagement, Mr. Woods.
Nothing to report.
Finance and Physical plan, Mr. Guzman.
We had a meeting, we discussed bills, agenda items only.
And state and county, so I already talked about the workshop, which was a very valuable experience. I also wanted to mention that the next Clay County SBA meeting is taking place on November 30th. It's going to be a hybrid meeting. So if you go in person, it's at 6 o'clock at the Patterson Charter School for Science and Technology. Then it starts at 6. If you attend virtually, it starts at 6:45. The topic is school district safety and security. And also at that meeting, our new rep for Passaic County, our new field service rep, her name is Kelly Mitchell. She'll be introduced at that meeting. So just an email was sent out just, I think just today, what was forwarded that email from JSBA. So that's it for that. Mr. Molino, anything?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
All right. Start. Okay, so personnel management.
Like- 8.1 and 8.11.
Second,
Before we move, can we have just a verification or clarification of 8.8 and 8.9? 8.9. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she resigned and then she's gonna be volunteering.
I can get you that answer. I'll have to ask, Mr. Chirito what the specifics of this particular situation. Okay. Something I need to give the board a confidential report on, 8.8, 8.9, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Second,
Okay, so moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Ramadan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
yes.
Ms. Farah DeGioia,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes,
and Mrs. Isabel.
Yes. Okay, curriculum and technology. That's Mr. Webb.
yes, I'd like to move 9.1 through 9.6.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Webb, seconded by Mr. Abasi. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Farah DeGioia. Yes. Mr. Webb,
Yes,
Yes. Okay, policy and public relations, Mr. Abasi.
Like to move item 10.1.
And a second? Second. Okay, so moved by Mr. Abasi, seconded by Ms. Farah DeGioia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Farah DeGioia. Yes. Mr. Webb,
yes,
and Mrs. Isabel.
Yes. Okay, security and safety, Mr. Guzman.
I'd like to move item 11.1.
Second,
second,
by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes, and here I'd just like to once again say thank you. There's a lot of people in the community that are grieving with the situation that's going on. It's personally affecting a lot of folks. And one of our fellow board members down in Franklin Township, Commissioner Sammy Charbon, personally had 9 members of his family lost this week in the conflict. So my condolences go out to him, and once again, thank you. Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Farah DeGioia. Yes. Mr. Webb,
yes,
Mrs. Isabel.
Yes. Finance and physical plant, Mr. Guzman.
I'd like to move items 13.1 through 13.25.
second,
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
In this been bill 13.22. Do I need to specifically abstain from PO 4351?
if it's related to, yes.
Yes.
33.21.
Oh, this is the one that
So-
belongs to.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's, so that's 13.
13.22. Specifically PO 4351.
So someone has to make a motion. And they say it's
1320.
Which one you need an amendment? No?
Okay, so approve the application for temporary classrooms.
No.
yes, because he said,
So this is,
0.2,
there's two different ones. So 1320 is the classroom,
correct.
That's the one that had it.
1322 I'm abstaining from, specifically PO 4350.
Right, so that's fine.
Okay,
You just abstain from that one, but for 1320, we need to amend because it was a typo.
I make a motion to amend 13.20.
And you have to say,
Okay, so we are going to, amend it. We just read it specifically. Which one? Oh, yeah.
Under item 2, approval to use the STEM room for the purpose of temporary hosting, it should say 1 preschool classroom, not 3. That amended is specified with.
Okay, so that was moved by Mr. Guzman and that was seconded by Mr. Rossi.
Mhm.
So we have to do a roll call. Right?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faraday Wilson. Yes. Mr. Webb,
yes,
and Mr. Guzman.
Now,
We have to approve the resolution.
okay, so now, motion, we need a motion to. Need somebody to move that, the revised 13. And I need okay, so moved by Mr. Abad, by Mr. Goodman, roll call please.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faraday Wilson. Yes. Mr. Webb.
yes,
Okay, now we can go back to the regular roll for all.
So we did Mr. Boston, right? He said he was extending 13 points to 2. Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faraday Wilson. Yes. Mr. Webb.
yes.
Yes. Okay. New and old business. Anybody have anything for business?
I got a quick one. Oh. Mr. Ramadan's son and find out what they got planned for the Christmas Santa ride around Eldon. And hopefully, we always have a great time with that, and Muhammad goes really bananas with that. But hopefully we can get as many of us on there again. That's a really great night birthday.
It is, it's a lot.
I just got one on 9.5, the instruction and program section. We had a dip from 67% which doesn't really make sense considering. Sports. So I believe Sir Walker put in an inquiry.
Yeah, so when we're gonna get that inquiry back, I don't know, our test score has been up 12%, and somehow our QDAC program went down 10%, 10 total points. But we didn't lose any of the other points, like, so, like. I'm waiting to find out this, but likely I can't. So that's where we're at.
So it's a potential typo somewhere.
I hope so, or maybe their algorithm changed, or I just can't understand how we had such a great result and then it'd be like. That would be lovely, so, I don't know.
Probably not that simple, but hopefully we'll have. But actually, so we'll wait to hear everyone. Anything else? Okay, can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens general
So moved.
second?
Okay.
Moved by Mr. Abasi, seconded by Mr. Amazon, roll call please.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faraday Wilson. Yes. Mr. Webb.
Yes,
Sister.
Yes, okay, so the floor is open and I would like to start with any folks who are here in person. If anybody would like to address the board.
Okay, Roxana Serna, 440 Southside Ave. So a lot of the parents were upset about the 2-day notice for the week off of for pre-K and kinder. I'm not sure if this was addressed to the people that were registering Waka. They were registered in last year and I don't know if they wouldn't be on a Zoom meeting to know about the construction that's gonna happen. You know, like, yes, it's been in the process for a couple of years or a year and a half, but they wouldn't.
Second, going back to Miss Augustine talking about Robert's rules, can you please address me when you're?
Okay, you're right there. So I don't think that they would know if they weren't here previously. So that's the reason why people are upset with it. They wouldn't think to join a Zoom meeting for a potential school that their kid is going to. I come to every meeting and I thought it was supposed to start in the summertime. That's what I remember at least. I would also think that you would secure our school, especially with the gun shooting. Saying that you're gonna work with the Haledon PD, I don't feel like didn't happen on school grounds. So working with the Haledon PD didn't really, like, what does that do? We need our schools to be secure, meaning complete closure to our schools and staff so that we know that our kids are safe. And on top of that, we also need the play yard. I would like for it to have a badge access instead of the locks, the way where the kids can unlock it themselves, the gate. Also cameras in every classroom. Right now, my phone is in SOS. So even if there were an emergency here, my kid wouldn't be able to contact me because my phone is most of the time in SOS in the building. And how many programs have you added since there have been no tax raises in the 5 or 6 years that you guys have been here? So therefore, I want to know what has been added in order to balance that out, like any programs for free. That's it.
Oh, well. Is there enough? Anybody else?
I don't have any question. My name is Hans. I'm a resident here in Haledon. I'm also part of the planning board, but I just wanted to come and participate tonight and just connect. That's all. But pleasure to meet everybody and thank you for serving.
You have a lovely wife. Love you.
Thank you so much for reading this all. Anybody online?
Motion to close.
Motion to close, and have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Goodman, seconded by Ms. Spirit-Digliosi. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boston?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Ms. Farragher Yosef? Yes. Webb?
yes.
Yes. Alrighty, have a motion to adjourn.
Can I just ask a quick question? Is there an issue with access to the parks? Where we would need something that blocks it there? Has anything been reported?
You mean the playground on
The play-
school grounds?
Yeah, that's what I understood as Ms. Sert's concern.
I haven't heard anything. We pay one staff for, I think it's $50 a day, or $75 a day to be present, read to about 4:30ish, just to have an adult there in case a child needs something. Monday through Friday, and we usually keep the playgrounds open the first 3 months and the last 3 months of the school year. When I first got here as principal, the former principal had closed the playgrounds every day as a matter of rule. I like the idea of kids being able to play under school, so that's why I made it.
Madam President. Is anyone going to reply to Ms. Serna? Talk about how we haven't increased taxes in over 5 years and still increase a bunch of services, just as a certified angels program, such as all the clubs that we have, such as a school resource officer in the school. Can somebody please address her, or are we just gonna adjourn?
Well, so I would like to say, Mr. Walker had just mentioned all the programs that we have that we're gonna be addressing at the Parent Academy. That's just been with the ESSER funds, and I know just off the top of my head, that's the BOSS program.
Summer school.
The extended, the Saturday program that we do during the year, right? Learning loss.
When George stepped down as board president, he wrote a letter to the community and to Stevie Alex, And you listed all the things that you accomplished in the new programs. The list was like that. It would do injustice to just single one or two or three out, because it was literally. And then we're proud of all of them, and we're gonna keep, part of this board strategic plan. The one that, we all work really hard on, one of the goals that you guys evaluate me on is, you want me to keep continually building programs for our students. And that's what I've been doing, because that's my job, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
So a page on the website, if you go, it's under activities, clubs, there's student activities, there's academic. I don't remember now all the drop down menu, but it's all there on the website, all of our programs that we have. Currently, and I think it's been updated.
I think you can find it preschool or 8 that have more co-curricular, extracurricular than outside. I'd be very interested in this. Right.
2 different contracts with our teachers union that had to be record time the last time we.
4 months later.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go Jeff. Right, Omar?
I got Justin Herbert on dance. On the little bit.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Abbasi. All in favor?
Yeah.